Thanks for coming in today so that we can review Kobe's results. We have the genetic testing that we performed on Kobe.
Oh, that's perfect. We have been looking forward to coming into the laboratory and going over this with you. It's exciting, very exciting.
Well,
How do you do?
Well, Kobe did great. It turns out that he is not a carrier for any of the genes that we
that's great.
tested.
That's awesome.
Really good
awesome.
news. And Kobe was part of our validation studies here at Paw Print Genetics. So instead of the usual 7 genes that we offer for Labrador retrievers, Kobe actually received the analysis on 62 different genes, and he was clear for all 62
Wow,
genes.
that is cool.
Awesome.
Way
Yeah,
cool.
very exciting.
So what does that mean?
So Kobe can be bred with little worry about inherited disorders. So let me show you how that might work.
All right.
So here's Kobe, and Kobe doesn't carry any of the genetic disorders that we talked about.
All right.
If he were to be bred to a dog that had not been tested, but perhaps was a carrier of a genetic disease, about half of the puppies would be carriers, and about half of the puppies would be normal.
Okay.
So he is not expected to produce dogs with inherited disorders.
Perfect.
Now what I have for you today is a canine genetic health certificate that reflects Kobe's results. And this is something that you can take with you. You can put it in with Kobe's information, perhaps frame it and put it on the wall. Or if you had tested a puppy and you were selling that puppy, this certificate could go with the puppy. And it gives you something to refer to,
Great.
2 years from now if you're wondering, what did I test that dog for? Because new genetic diseases will be identified all the time.
Yes.
That is awesome. And I would think that if you were going to be buying a puppy, you would want to have this kind of information anyway.
I
The
would
breeder
ask
should
for
supply
it.
this, right?
But not only it's great for breeding, but it's also great for working dogs, because now we can be assured that when we're out working with Kobe that he's not going to come down with epilepsy or inherited diseases.
And that's a
like
really
that.
good idea. And that's it can be expensive to train pups. Very, very expensive to train somebody's dog. And if they haven't got this done, you might be spending that money for nothing.
Exactly.
Right, and then of course there's the emotional investment when you get that
Exactly.
puppy.
Absolutely so.
Yeah.
Very true. All right.
Now what I wanted to show you is during our validation studies, we unfortunately did identify some dogs that have inherited diseases. So for example, in this 7-year-old golden retriever, this dog we found was a carrier. So in this instance, because this dog is a carrier for a disease called ichthyosis, which is a skin condition, you would want to make sure to not breed this dog with another carrier. So let me show you how that works.
Okay.
So here I have a diagram showing, let's say this is the dog that we just tested and we know is a carrier for ichthyosis. If we were to breed this dog with another carrier for ichthyosis, 25% of the time, or 1 out of 4 puppies would be expected to have the inherited condition.
Interesting.
Now about 50% of the dogs are carriers, so you need to know what they carry before breeding them, and then 25% or 1 out of 4 are normal. Now I also have an example, an unfortunate golden retriever again. This one's 13 years old and was affected with ichthyosis. So this means that this dog actually has 2 copies of the mutant gene and no normal copy. So if this dog were to be bred, it would always pass on the gene that has a mutation, and if bred with a carrier dog, half of the puppies would be affected now. Not 1 in 4 like the previous dog, but now half of the dogs would be affected.
Wow.
So this is very important to know, especially if you want to sell these puppies, because any prospective owner is going to want to know whether or not the dog has genetic disease.
Absolutely so.
Now this is all great information, but how much would we look at the cost in these tests?
Cost is an important factor because whenever you have a dog, you know that there's costs with the veterinary expenses, with training that dog. So the cost of genetic testing is roughly, depending on how many genes you order, about the price of having your dog's teeth cleaned. So not too expensive.
Well, that's not too bad at all.
That's
That's a fairly good investment for the amount of money you're going to be putting into the animal.
Exactly.
Good investment. Well, Lisa, thank you. I appreciate all of the work you've done. This is so cool, and it's great
information. It's been so
information.
nice being with you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much.